Hello everyone. As you can see, we are once again out in the dark. Now, I have finished my exercises for the day and I have been grocery shopping. Because, well, I left it until way too late. I keep forgetting that the days are getting shorter. I'm gonna have to start exercising earlier in the day. But yeah, not a lot to say about today, really. I didn't get anything done. Just sat around, I played some Monster Hunter, didn't record it. Played some TFT, didn't record that either, because why would I? Played some... No, actually I didn't play anything else. I played TFT, and I tried to get through my YouTube watch later list, which has truly gotten so very long. And that's basically what I spent most of the day doing. Haven't eaten either, really. Like, I had breakfast, but now it's like 8 p.m. and I haven't eaten anything. Which is bad. Thank God I went grocery shopping. So yeah, this was a bit of a... what I call a waste day in my head. Even though, of course, the day isn't wasted. I relaxed, I recharged, I recovered, I spent time. I consumed some of the content that inspires me and informs me when I make my own stuff, and kept up to date with my friends. Like, it wasn't a wasted day, really, because I got things done that can be necessary to my life. But I'm so in my head. I'm gonna try and do the gestures with my hand again to create a point of visual interest. With my head, I'm so trained and so used to thinking of not doing something as lazy that ultimately, like, even if I'm sick, if I have a sick day, which doesn't happen a lot, but if I do and I don't get anything done that day, I'm just like, that was a lazy day. Which you're like, no, it wasn't. You were sick. You're supposed to chill the fuck out. And it's kind of the same thing with this job, because, like, there's no weekends for me. Like, I don't take weekends off because I work from home. Why would I? And plus, the stuff that I talk about oftentimes happens on weekends. And it's good practice on YouTube to, or good practice, not good practice, to have content out quickly when things happen. And so, I don't get weekends, and I don't get breaks, and I don't get time off, and I don't get holidays. So the work-life balance thing is hard. And that's another one of the reasons why so many YouTubers burn out, is because they work all the time. And not necessarily that they work like 8 or 10 hours a day. Some do, and that sucks. I fortunately don't anymore. But just that every single day, it's work. And if you don't get any work done, then you can see it in your analytics immediately. Like, your analytics crater, and you can see that, like, the subscriber count grows more slowly or goes down. You can see, like, all of that stuff, all these systems that are designed to encourage you to keep working and to make you feel bad for not working. Plus, it's just the culture. I mean, it's the culture that we have especially in Protestant countries, but also just under capitalism in general, that if you do not work for any reason, doesn't matter why, then you're being lazy, unless you have, like, approved holidays, like, unless your employer has chosen to give you the privilege of not working for a while by not making you work on weekends, or by letting you have holidays, or like letting you take sick days. It's like you need the approval of someone else not to work. And when you work for yourself, well, that's not really there. And I always feel like, and I can feel that attitude permeate into my brain, because I always feel like if I don't do work, if I don't put out a video, if I don't make stuff, you guys are disappointed. And you guys see that, and you guys feel, well, I'm supporting this guy on Patreon, or I've been watching his videos, why isn't he putting up more of this thing? And that's internalized capitalism, basically. Like, that's sort of basically what it is, where, to a certain extent, I define my value as a content creator by how much content I make, by how productive I am, how much I produce. Where probably I should be looking more at, like, what the stuff I make does for people. Because there's lots of people who've told me stuff like where like, my content, the work I do, has helped them look at art differently, or it's helped them have a different perspective on art criticism in general, or some video game, or, like, whatever. And the thing is, the way I've trained myself, I don't value those things. Like, my brain just doesn't see them as, oh, you produced something good here. Only the video itself, in my messed up brain, has value. And that's a thinking I'm trying to sort of train myself out of, so that I can have a day like today, where for whatever reason I don't get a lot of work done, but I get a bunch of other stuff done, is still okay, and is still valuable, and is still alright. And I know for a lot of young content creators especially, that's the thing that really haunts their brains, is like if you're running a webcomic and you miss an upload day, if you're running a web show and you're doing some YouTube videos and you miss an upload, that can really, like, that gets in your head and it makes you feel terrible. And, oh shit, I'm going to do a double upload next time, I'm going to do even more work next week, like that kind of thing. And it fucks you up. It's a bad idea. I've been there, I'm still kind of there. And it's not good, because it just burns you out. And once you burn out, then you stop working entirely. And if you're already suffering from stuff like depression, anxiety, stuff like that, no bueno, bad idea. So yeah, trying to work on my mindset a little bit more. Usually when you hear content creators talking about working on their mindset, what they're talking about, I'm working on my mindset so I can make even more stuff, make even better stuff, just constantly putting more pressure to create on themselves, more pressure to produce. And I think that's why people burn out. Like, I think that's why there is burnout. I think that's why people get miserable and suffer, and why YouTubers can sometimes have a really hard time managing boundaries with their audiences, because they constantly feel like they owe the audience. Like, they owe them. And that's a dangerous feeling. Like, it's not wrong. Like, I owe my career in this stuff, insofar as you can call it a career. Like, the gig that I have now, I owe that to you guys, because you turn up and you watch my stuff and you support me on Patreon. I owe that to you. But if my relationship becomes one, oh, I owe them another video, I owe them more content, then I'm not making content because I want to or because I like it, but out of obligation to other people. And that's when you start to resent it. Like, that's when you have something that you want to do, like maybe you want to go to someone's birthday, go out partying or whatever, and then, oh no, wait, I owe a video to these people. I owe them this content. And it starts getting in the way of you having a normal life. And that's already, like, fucking bad enough with the gig economy these days, and with the ways that workplaces abuse their workers, where they're always trying to get overtime out of them, always trying to make them work more, work on weekends, work a little bit from home, do a little bit extra, answer an email on Saturday. Like, always pushing that boundary of like, trying to erode the barrier between life and work. And that's already fucked up. Like, that's already one of the most fucked up things in capitalism, is that that bosses and workplaces are trying to steal your off hours, always, all the time. So why would we replicate that for ourselves when we finally, when you're lucky enough, like me, to escape a little bit of that? Like, I'm not free of capitalism, but I'm at least free of having a 9-to-5 job for some boss that, like, owns some company who doesn't give a shit about me and who will kick me out on my ass at a moment's notice if it means a 3% rise in the profit margins. You know, I've escaped from a little bit of it, so why recreate that pattern for myself when all it does is eventually it burns me out and makes me unable to do work? Like, if I'm lucky enough to have this incredibly lucky gig, why would I make it as shitty as a 9-to-5 job on purpose? And again, mindset. That's the mindset I'm working on. I'm not trying to get better at the grind. I'm not trying to get more disciplined. I'm plenty disciplined. I make a lot of content, and I make a lot of content very rapidly sometimes when I need to. I make good stuff, and currently I'm making just enough to keep the lights on, and it's slowly growing, so I'm not pushing for more for the sake of having more. I am trying to improve. Like, I'm thinking about maybe hiring an editor again and having them do the editing on some videos where I can just record the script, which would let me put out some more stuff and talk about some other things that I just haven't been able to do on my own. And there's things like that. Like, I'm trying to improve the channel, but I'm trying to do it not at the cost of myself. And yeah, if you have a creative project for yourself, work on that mindset too, because it's good to be disciplined. It's good to be able to do a hell of a lot of work and put a lot of work out and support yourself. But it's also really good to have a mindset where you don't become your own slave master, sort of a slave driver. Maybe I shouldn't use the word slave, actually, but like you don't become your own toxic boss, basically, because that's when you kill it. that's when you burn yourself out. That's when your whole thing goes down the shitter. Anyway, I don't know how the hell I got onto that topic, but here we are. I'm gonna go home with my groceries.